So me, Tony, and Ruben prepared some examples. And in this upper field where the arranger area is, you can basically see what it is. This is a mastering example for this compressor. And to be like as fair as you can be, we use a plugin which is called Perception AB, so that when we engage the compressor, it's loudness compensated basically. You don't get fooled by loudness, because due to Fletcher and Munson, you know that the louder, the better, basically. And we want to trick you. We don't want to trick you. We want you to hear what the device is capable of doing. So let's listen to the song first of all, and then let's dial in a little bit the compressor, what I think would be fine to really get this groove going. Let's go to the loudest section first of all and listen to that. Let's have a listen.
Now they're watching how I dive into the pool of money.
So what I can hear is that if you listen to the kick, it seems like the punch is coming first of the kick, so the top inch of the kick, but the sustain elements are coming way later. You have to listen really carefully to hear that. What I want to do is glue it a little bit together to have more punch and have the sustain element to release itself, so the music is grooving to the music. I always ask myself, what would Michael Jackson do? Or Ruben, as we would say. Okay, let's go for it.
Now they're watching how I dive into the pool of money.
Okay, guys, then let's hop into it. So, pre is without the Xpressor Neo engaged, post is with the Xpressor Neo. And I show you what I dialed in. I always set my compressors as musical as possible, sometimes for an effect, but we will hop into that in a second. So let's go. Or as we in the Mastering Academy say, by Yaga. I just dialed it in for 3 seconds or something. Is it? Can you hear it? It's loudness compensated. You can see that on the screen.
If we tape or press pre, then we hear the signal without Xpressor.
Yes,
if we press post, it's loudness compensated.
Yes.
Xpressor only for clarification.
Yes, definitely. And it's both a reference to -21 LUFS. Short term, basically. First of all, I'll show you the compressor, what it's doing. Look at this. I engaged the logarithmic release, and for this transience of the percussive elements in the chorus, hi-hats and stuff that Tony played, I engaged the auto fast attack as well. So we are approximately 1.5 ratio. So for mastering, most of the times you know these kind of things. 1.3, 1.5 to 1, something like that. In some cases 2 to 1, but I would use it then rather, if I use 2 to 1 or 4 to 1 ratio, I would use the mix button to dial it in a little bit to get the RMS louder without heavily squashing the transients. The attack is moderate, basically. You know, I could even turn the attack a little bit up because of the auto fast, and let's go. Let's listen to it and see how it sounds. So just the compressor without. I'm sorry. I'm really hyped right now. Can you just do me a favor? Listen carefully to the groove of the song. Ooh, ah, ooh, that. It's there. Listen.
Now creating on the streets of my tension. In a different world, new dimension. I throw some money in the club, bitches dancing. I'm on my way and I get this money, yeah. Was spraying on my life and now I live the sunny day.
Yeah. What should you say to the drunken sailor, I would say? It sounds so amazing. It sounds so nice. It sounds so... Didn't I tell you that the Class A situation has this glassy, open sound? It opens even up the sound. It doesn't sound that dull anymore. It attacks really the kick and the low fundamental that I was talking about to bring them more together so that the punch is there, that you can really hear that goo, ga, goo, ga. That's reggaeton kind of thing. And all of a sudden it opens up as well. And just take a look at the before, and then post after, so that everything is out of the equation. Even the going out and going in into the DA-AD converter. Okay, let's go. Class A circuitry. I sometimes, really, I have to really go bananas right now. Sometimes I just engage that without doing nothing. Just going through the circuitry makes the music come together. Makes it come like everything is in its space. Can you hear that Tonee is a little bit dull? Especially, who's the other guys that's singing gold? Corby. Listen to Corby, how he is sounding with the compressor engaged. You can clearly hear that the low-level detail is coming up as well. Listen to that.
It was all a dream, living fancy. Now creating on the streets of my tension. In a different world, new dimension. I throw some money in the club, bitches dancing. I'm on my way and I get this money, yeah. Was spraying on my...
Yeah, even Tonee is looking at me. No, it cannot be true. Can you go to the compressor for a second, please? That would be so awesome. And then what comes in handy is really beautiful on that thing with that massive low end that you first of all can see here. I just have a FabFilter Pro Q on the output just for seeing the analyzer. Just look at the massive low end.
Life I'm waiting for the sunny day. Expensive, imagine it's money. Was spraying on my life and now I leave the sunny days. I was striving till I get this money. Now they're watching how I dive into the pool of money.
And as we said before, I have to make sure that with engaging the sidechain filter on the detector circuit, I'm making sure that it's not pumping that much. I will show you the difference. Let me just turn it down to 31 Hertz and then go from there. Listen to the difference.
I was striving till I get this money. Now they're watching how I dive into the pool of money.
Boom Yaga.
I want to say a little bit about, because it's not so good to see on a video, but we have gain reduction from 4 to 6 or 7 dB, what we're hearing here. So it's not only a dB, it's 4 to 6. And this is special about these XPressor. It's super clean. Maybe if you have some experience with other analog compressors, maybe you say, okay, I can do 2 dB, but not more, because then the sound is different or distorted. And here you can really do way more. And it's open, it's clear, it's everything. So that's because that's what I like to say. And also one important fact, the energy in the bass, what we hear, this is also part of the improvements of the XPressor. So if you have the old one and compared to the new one, the new bass extension is one of the benefits of the new device.
I can clearly hear that. Thank you so much. It's so good to have a device that you can use on every music genre. That's basically the thing that you want to have. You want to have a device that is as versatile as it can get without sacrifice, that you just build in, I would say, a circuitry that makes the device go bad. So everything is like mediocre, basically. The more feature it has, the other features are mediocre. With this device, you get the pure bliss. That's the thing you can hear. You can clearly hear the difference. Okay, let me just overdo it till it really breaks, and I think it's really hard to break it though. Let's go. So for you guys not believing what's happening here, my finger was on -10. The whole mix is really neat from the get-go. And it's compressing -10 dB. And you can't hear shit about distortion or artifacts. And that's the keen thing about this beautiful device. That when you engage it, it will add something as a bonus to the music that you have and create it and work your butt off hours and hours in the studio and not sacrificing the music at all by having mediocre parts in it. Like Ruben said, everything is class A, basically around the class A circuitry is discrete, and you can clearly hear the difference between ICs and discrete designs. It's so open. I really squashed it. Now let's try something really neat, which comes handy here. We have the parallel mix. Let's just put it in parallel and have a sort of upward compression. For the people who don't know what upward compression is, it's basically a phenomenon that makes the compression work on everything below a threshold and not above a threshold. So what it does, in other words, is making quieter things louder and not touching the transient elements so far. That's why parallel compression is an amazing and keen part in mixing and mastering. Also, mastering not that much anymore because compression is a little bit overhyped when you want to compress like really because everything we get from splice and everything is so compressed and stuff. We have to make sure that it sounds neat. You can do it with this device basically, but quieter things get louder. A compressor, people might tell you that a compressor makes like the music louder. No, it doesn't. A compressor, first of all, makes the peaks and everything that's against the ceiling quieter. That's what a compressor is for. So ceiling down. But you have the average as well. So if you can show my beautiful body that I worked like 10 hours a day no, I didn't. I have a belly. So basically, that's the peaks, that's the ceiling, and that is the average. And what it does, the upward compressor, is basically something like this. Look, it doesn't touch the ceiling at all. Otherwise, downward compressor is doing this. And sure, you can make it louder. But the difference is that you touch the peaks, if you have a peak-dependent compressor, especially, And in the other case, where you compress low-level content, you don't touch the peaks. That's basically the thing. You have massive transients. And detection, stereo image, everything that makes a phantom center, that makes something wide in sound, is transients. If you don't have transients, you cannot grab the sound. Just over-compress something, you will understand what I'm talking about. It sounds like you cannot really distinguish where the sound in the stereo field is. It's just some muffle thing, you know? So, good. Let's try the, as I said, the parallel compression and see how it works on that music. So we compress the shit out of it. Let's overdo it, because another advice from our point of view is whenever you want to hear what a compressor is doing, don't hold back. Compress the shit out of the signal to really understand what it's doing and then dial back. That's a neat and keen trick to use a compressor wisely and musically. Is it moving with the music? Is it releasing with the tempo of the music and stuff? Okay? So, let's go. So guys, now you get the real sauce. Let's go. It doesn't touch everything that is transients up there. Can you hear that? Before it opened up really nicely when we did the compression, about 4 to 5 dB or 9 dB. But now that we have the parallel compression engaged, it sounds like everything from the quieter spaces is filling up the sound and makes the RMS basically, or the crest factor as we call it, the differentiation between the highest true peak and the RMS, or the average, makes it come together more, so that we can hear quieter parts as well. It's really neat to hear. Just hear it for yourself again. One day, let's go for... And the funny thing is, this bigger chunk, which is like getting more towards the ceiling, if I push it to 0, is sounding as loud, if you use that technique, as this, because the RMS is getting louder. That's the neat trick. So quieter parts tend to use as loud as the part that is the massive impact part, like the downbeat part, or the drop, or the chorus, or call it whatever you want. Let's go.
All a dream, living fancy. Not creating on the streets, I'm attention. In a different world, new dimension. I trust some money in the club.
Listen to these wood sounds that are coming up. The Celestine stuff. Everything sounds so way louder here. So if I would render it, this would look rather like this. Just use your imagination now, you beautiful people. It will look like this. So it will come together more with the louder parts. Make sense? You can clearly hear that. That when I disengage the compressor, listen again, from here to there. Once disengaged, I make a little loop. And then engaged. You can clearly hear that the loudness is not shrinking at all. The perception of loudness. Let's go.
Was all a dream, living fancy. Not creating on the streets, I'm attention. It was all a dream, living fancy. Not creating on the streets, I'm attention.
Can you hear that? It's really obvious, so I have to really overdo it so you guys can hear it.
So also one idea to have it more controllable, if you use the gain reduction limiter, you have at the loudest part some kind of a limit, and then you only have the real makeup gain without any dynamics change. And I think with this, you can also have some, let's say, crazy ratio setups and threshold setups, and use the gain reduction limiter to say, okay, in the loudest part, it's only reducing, let's say, 6 dB. And when the quieter part comes, then it will pump that up. And I think in combination with the mix, this is really an upward compression here.
Makes totally sense what you're saying. So let's go for it. This is the gain reduction limit. Let's go for the loudest part. Now let's see what we can dial in here. Let's first of all get a loop going. So guys, here we go. Wow. So now to the quieter parts.
All a dream, living fancy. Not creating on the streets, I'm attention.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Maybe to reduce the threshold a little bit for the quieter parts, that the gain reduction will go a little bit away, not that much. So that was really good. So adjust the thresholds here, the key to find the point between the loudest and the quieter parts. So in the quieter parts, the gain reduction is going to, let's say, zero.
Actually zero. Makes totally sense. Let's try it out.
I'm gonna make it, I don't wanna see congestion now. I already know I gotta take it all. It was all a dream, living fancy. Not creating on the streets, I'm attention. I'm gonna make it, I don't wanna see congestion now. I already know I gotta take it all. It was all a dream, living fancy. Not creating on the streets, I'm gonna make it, I don't wanna see congestion now. I already know I gotta take it all. It was all a dream, living fancy. Not creating on. I'm gonna make it, I don't wanna see congestion now. I already know I gotta take it all. It was all a dream, living fancy. Not creating on the streets, I'm attention. In a different world, new dimension. I'm gonna make it, I don't wanna see congestion now. I already know I gotta take it all. It was all a dream, living fancy.
Something like this.
And then now the mix control, let's say to 100% to give the full effect of that gain reduction.
Let's go.
I'm gonna make it, I don't wanna see congestion now. I already know I gotta take it all. It was all a dream, living fancy. Not creating on the streets, I'm attention.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So see, it's always something under the hood that you even tried out yet. Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's go to that section. Let's see how it sounds here. That we have a different section. I think this is this. You have a C part, right?
Yes.
You have a bridge, right?
A C part. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm gonna make it, I don't wanna see congestion now. I already know I gotta take it all. I don't give no chance when I get it, I take it. It's never gonna change, all my dreams gonna make it.
What? Oh my God. Yeah. That's why what I call raise the RMS.
Must be a joke.
Yeah, this is the hedgehog, which is like really hungry and you don't feed it. But now it's so not hungry anymore.
He's prepared for winter sleep.
Yeah, I would say so. Awesome.